Good day, viewers. Today we want to look at the sixth property, which is the last property under binary operation, which is called the inverse element. Let's look at the definition of inverse element. Given a non-empty set X, which is closed under a binary operation asterisk. So if this symbol is for all X, as if we pick a particular element in this non-empty set, X in X, we can find an element S prime in X such that this condition holds. That is X asterisk S prime, or we say S prime asterisk X is equal to E, where E is the identity element. Then we say S prime is called the inverse of X in X. That is what we are trying to say, is that if you have an element from this non-empty set, the inverse of that element, if we relate an element with the inverse of that element, we must get the identity. For instance, if on the set of natural numbers, on the set of integers, let's say on the set of integers, if we have 2 plus, under addition, if we have minus 2, what we are going to get is 0. So 2 is an element. The inverse, the additive inverse of 2 is 2. If you use 2 plus minus 2, we are going to get 0. 0 is the identity element. So minus 2 represents the inverse element for 2. So that is a typical example. For multiplication, we said addition. The identity element for addition is 0. So if multiplication is 1, for instance, if this is multiplication now, we talk about maybe 5 times, then what we are going to have here is 1 over 5 to be able to get 1, because 1 is the identity element under multiplication, while 0 is the identity element under addition. So the element that we are going to use to multiply, that we are going to use so we relate with that particular element, that in order to get the identity element is called the inverse element. Under addition, 0 is the identity element. So if the element is 2, then minus 2 will be the inverse of that 2, because the element you relate with that identity element must give you, with that inverse element must give you identity element. Under multiplication, the reciprocal will always be the multiplicative inverse. For instance, if it is 5, then what are you going to multiply with 5 to get 1? That will be 1 over 5. So 1 over 5 is the inverse element of 5 under multiplication. We have established that fact in our previous video, that under addition, 0 is the identity element, and under multiplication, 1 is the identity element. So that is how to find the inverse element. Any element you relate with a particular element to get the identity is called the inverse. Please, let's take notes. Thank you.